Have you ever stared at a blinking cursor until it felt like it was mocking you? That sinking sensation that the well has run dry, that imposter syndrome whispering that your last good idea was just a lucky accident. Welcome to The Last Read. Today, we are tuning out that static and tuning into The Creative Act, A Way of Being by the legendary music producer Rubin. Now, you might think a book by a music producer is a technical manual on mixing boards or chord progressions. But if you know Rubin, the man with the flowing white beard who looks more like a mystic wandering out of a cave than a record executive, you know that isn't his style. Rubin famously admits he has no technical ability. He doesn't know how to work a soundboard. He doesn't play instruments. Yet, the Beastie Boys, Adele, Jay-Z, and Johnny Cash all trusted him with their most vulnerable work. Why? Because Rubin isn't a producer in the traditional sense. He calls himself a reducer. His genius isn't in what he adds, but in how he listens. He removes the interference so the truth can come through. And in this book, he argues that this ability isn't a special talent reserved for artists in Soho lofts. It is your birthright. Rubin's first major shift is dismantling the idea of the artist as a career. He argues that creativity is a fundamental aspect of being human. Whether you are a software engineer debugging code, a driver taking a new route to avoid traffic, or a parent cutting a sandwich into the shape of a dinosaur to get a toddler to eat, you are solving problems by bringing something new into reality. You are creating. But if we are all creators, why do we get blocked? Why does the signal cut out?
Rubin offers a beautiful mental model here. You are not a factory generating ideas. You are an antenna receiving them. He describes the source, a constant stream of data and inspiration that is always broadcasting, like radio waves in a room. If you can't hear the music, it's not because the music stopped, it's because your antenna is jammed. It's jammed by stress, by expectation, and by the noise of daily life. So how do we tune the dial? Rubin breaks it down into a cycle, starting with gathering seeds. This is the phase of pure awareness. You turn off your internal critic and you just look. You look at the shadows on the sidewalk. You listen to the rhythm of a stranger's conversation in a coffee shop. You don't ask, "Is this good?" You just say, "That's interesting," and you put it in your bag. You hoard observations. Rubin reminds us that volume does not equal value. A tiny, quiet observation often grows into the biggest work. But eventually, you have to take those seeds and plant them. You have to start making. And that is when the enemy arrives, the voice of doubt.
Rubin warns that if you try to create what you think the market wants, you will fail. It's like a chef trying to cook a meal based on a survey of 100 people. You end up with something bland and confused. But if that chef cooks the meal they are dying to eat using the spices they love, paradoxically, people line up around the block for it. By being specific to your own taste, you become universal. As Rubin says, the audience comes last. Once you've poured everything you love into the work, you have to switch hats. You stop being the generous artist and become the ruthless editor. This is the craft phase. This is where Rubin the reducer shines. You look at what you've made and you strip away everything that isn't essential. If a line doesn't serve the song, it goes. If a chapter drags, it's cut. You aren't making the work smaller, you are making it more potent. And finally, you reach the hardest part of all, the release. We love to hoard our work. We tinker endlessly because we're afraid of judgment. But Rubin insists that holding on to work blocks the flow. Creativity is a river. If you dam it up with finished projects you refuse to release, fresh water cannot flow in. You have to let it go, not for the applause, but to clear the channel. The moment you release the work, you are free. You return to the beginning. You become the antenna again. The creative act isn't just about making better art. It's about a way of being in the world, open, attentive, and unafraid of the silence. If you want to keep your antenna tuned with us, hit that subscribe button. And if you're ready to read the full manual on listening to the universe, you can grab Rubin's book right there in the show notes. Until next time, keep the dial spinning.